Hey, it's Lee. Welcome to Business Problems Solved. Today, I want to continue to build on the conversations that we have been having. You may have picked up a theme. If you've seen me or followed me on social media recently, communication has been the theme that I've been talking about more and more. 2 weeks ago, I had the absolute pleasure of chatting with Kevin Robinson, and I referred to that conversation again last week. So Kev had spent 30 years on Toyota, and as a lot of you are familiar with, Toyota are seen as, or have been seen in some quarters as the leaders of operational excellence and the way to do this improvement thing that we all try to do. And Kev uses teamwork and organizational teamwork to really frame what improvement and the essence of improvement is. I think it's communication. Kev labours on teamwork. And I don't want to debate those two things at all, because they're very, very similar. We could all have and have our own, say that teamwork and improvement is all about these things, and it's about honesty, it's about trust, it's about the environment, it's about teams working together collaboratively, it's about how we communicate. I think a lot of, in fact, actually, like Kev says, it's really easy to say what it isn't rather than what it is. But I think that people confuse two things. And I'm going to use Kev's teamwork to articulate this. A lot of people say that they have teamwork when their team works. And what do I mean by that? Well, when I say their team works, you might be hitting a particular metric, a particular measure. You might be delivering what it is that you need to deliver. So on the outside of it, and internally within the team, it may be perceived that your team works because it's being measured by the process and by the output metrics. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have teamwork. Yes, the component parts of the process and the people are put together in a way that it delivers the output. But it doesn't mean that you have teamwork. Teamwork is different to your team working. And I think we leaders, they confuse the two things because they use the traditional process metrics to determine the success of their team. But when the going gets tough, are people having open and honest conversations? Are you driving improvement every single day? Or is it just when you're up against it and you're having to firefight that everybody pulls together? How can you move to an environment where you have teamwork daily as opposed to your team works based on the metrics? And why do I think it's about communication? Well, I think because it's about the quality conversations that we have. And everything comes from the leader. If you're a leader of a team currently, or you're supporting leaders, I honestly think that the challenge is yours. The challenge is yours to create the environment that creates that level of communication and level of conversation. You've heard me talk in the past about the 4 C's that we so passionately support businesses to deliver. So connection, that's where it all starts. Connecting to a vision, connecting to a direction, connecting to where you want to try to get people to, but also connecting as a team together on this shared purpose. And then it's about having the right conversations that are enabling you to get to that vision, and then collaborating on the key things that will help you move forward today as opposed to where you were yesterday, and then celebration. So the 4 C's: connect, converse, collaborate, and celebrate. That's a framework for what we believe is a secret of successful delivery, successful change. And there's other things, there's things that underpin this in terms of how you deliver it, how every business is different. And you have teamwork when you are doing and delivering those 4 C's. You have effective communication when you are delivering those four C's. But it all comes down to the leader and the environment that they create. And one challenge that I often see leaders come up against is historically, they are amazing at delivering communication one way. They are happy to deliver the latest updates, to say how the performance is doing today, or the target that we need to deliver at the end of this shift, or the end of the week, or where we're going. Communication delivered one way. The challenge that I see a lot of leaders is when they are asked to ask questions where they don't know the answer, where they're uncertain about what might come back from the people that they ask. So when I'm talking about communication, it's that level of communication. It's a leader's ability to ask a question where they don't know the answer, where they're not trying to shape the answer, where they're not trying to influence the answer. It's a what or a how question. It's a degree of vulnerability. It's encouraging the group to work together, to collaborate on achieving the vision that you're connected, all connected towards. And when we talk about improvements and things, some people, they lead with the tools and stuff like that, but we're trying to create this environment, and the tools, the techniques, the methodologies, the approaches, they all work. None of them are fundamentally broken, but they are if you're trying to not create that environment. If you're just working purely on the process rather than the environment, then they might make the team work, but they won't create teamwork, if that makes sense. The tools, the methodologies, the approaches are about creating better conversations, better communication, better teamwork. Not purely about getting the team to work, getting the process to deliver the output that it requires to produce. If you want to make today better than yesterday, you need teamwork, you need communication. It's not about just getting the team to work. So don't confuse those two things. And that's a leader's challenge, about getting everybody to feel passionately about the direction and the journey that you're heading in, getting people to resonate with it at their level. What is it, the emotional triggers that will get them to buy in and engage with that? So we're trying to create teamwork. We're not just trying to get the team to work. And I think that's a really important differentiation that I want you to really understand with your team that you're supporting, or the team that you're working in. Are you trying to get the team to work, or are you trying to create teamwork? Kev spoke about conflict and how conflict is a positive thing, and it can be if it's constructive conflict. It's okay to have differing opinions. It's okay to have different suggestions, different ideas, different ways to do things. What's not okay is not to have that communication that environment that flushes all of these things out, so you can actually have those conversations to then develop and collaborate on the direction and the preferred way together. It's not about the most senior person's idea. It's about the collaborative approach, teamwork, to get the team to work, not focused purely onto the metrics show that the team is working. It might be working today, but it might not be tomorrow. And this is often what we do. We focus on the short term. I've had a number of conversations with a number of businesses over the last few weeks where they have said that their improvement strategies, or how they improve, is predominantly two ways. Firefighting through necessity. Nearly every business I've spoken to have said they are brilliant firefighters. When they're up against it, when there's a challenge, they come together and they fix it. But by the admission of every single person that I've spoken to, they firefight far too often. But they're brilliant at it. They love it. They love that camaraderie and achieving that thing together. And firefighting is often rewarded as well. But I want us to light fewer fires. I want us to not have as many fires. So that's the improvement strategy number 1, firefighting through necessity. Improvement strategy number 2 is project-based improvements. So you know the things, you've got an improvement agenda, a portfolio of change, and you have all of these projects that are delivered. So those are the 2 main improvement strategies that businesses have: firefighting through necessity and project-based improvements. Not many businesses and not many people that I've spoke to said that their improvement strategy is to improve something every single day, daily improvements. But if you're going to move forward and achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve, I would highly recommend and suggest that you move from firefighting, projects based improvements to more daily improvements. If you're improving something every single day, and everybody's improving something every single day, things won't become fires before you fix them, because you fixed them before they become a fire. You won't need as many projects because you're fixing things every single day as well. So you will naturally reduce the amount of fires, you'll naturally reduce the amount of projects, because you're encouraging every single team, every single person to fix something every single day. And that comes down to those 4 C's: connection, conversation, collaboration, and celebration. Connecting and aligning to a vision, connecting together, and all being having explicit clarity in how your role and their role aligned and will get to that destination. Conversation, so making sure you've got the right measures that can prompt the right questions, but also being a leader that is open to asking questions that you don't know the answer to. It's a leader's role to set that direction and set the expectation. It's the leader's role to ask the questions that drive and create the environment for trusting and open and honest conversations and communication. It's a leader's role to then bring people together, to collaborate, and giving them enough time to not be producing the widgets, but to have the ability and space to collaborate together. And it's a leader's role to celebrate with the team, recognition of when things are going well, not just when they're not going well. We need to satisfy these 4 things. But I would say it's the leader's role that can create the environment. People often say that improvement should be bottom up. And in the main, people protect what they build. So yes, improvement ideas, suggestions, processes, because people are closer to it. People who know more about it are the ones that work it, all of these things. So yes, improvement should be bottom up, but expectation, direction, clarity, conversation, communication, the environment should be created top down. And for a leader to move and to set the tone, to move away from firefighting and project-based improvement to daily improvement, has to be the direction. But that comes from you, the leader, the leadership role to do it. And you set that pace, you set that direction. But more importantly, you ask the questions. You ask the questions that engages everybody, that gets everybody bought into where you're trying to get to. So yeah, so whether everybody agrees with what the key components of teamwork are, doesn't matter. Whether people believe that the successful teams, a formula for a successful team is A plus B equals C. There might be different definitions, but fundamentally, it's about connection, conversation, collaboration, and celebration. And it's the leader's role to deliver those 4 things, to create the environment that allows those 4 things to happen So we started with this. I'm going to finish with this. Your team might work, but you might not have teamwork. Focus on teamwork and creating teamwork, and your team will work for longer. Your team will work for longer. Don't just focus on your team working, but focus on teamwork. Rightio, that's it. 167, episode 167, over and done with. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on this amazing journey, which has allowed me to speak to some fantastic people. It's also the podcast has provided me an opportunity to just journal my learnings and lessons over the last 3 years. So I just want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you want to get in touch, you want to have a conversation, then please do just drop me a little note. Follow me on social media, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. We've got knowledge. We've got a YouTube channel as well where the videos of the podcasts also appear. So there's plenty of ways to get in touch. Have an amazing rest of your week, and I look forward to chatting again soon. Have fun.